What's shaking, my friends? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Shay, and today is the start of the end of the year 2024 content. I don't know how anybody could do this before January because I read some bangers in December. So I think that a lot of people may be surprised at what's on this list because I didn't really share my reading journey past July. I mean, I did do some vlogs past July, but I didn't share majority of what I read with you guys. I read 119 books, which includes some novellas. That is more than I read in 2023, which just boggles my mind because I thought I was actually reading less than I was. Anyway, but for this particular video, I am going to be talking about my most disappointed and my most surprising books. These are in no particular order, and I'm gonna kind of go through one disappointed and one surprise. Okay, so without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. I have 5 of each. We will start out with kind of some sad news, which is Priest of Bones by Peter McLean. I'm not sure if that's how you really say his name, but that's how I'm going to say it for the purpose of this video. This is a series that I have wanted to get to for a very long time. It's been on my wish list forever, and I finally pulled the trigger it was either earlier this year or late last year to buying this book, and I was super stoked for it. Heard a lot of great things about it, and then the Broken Binding did special editions, and of course I didn't buy them, but I was like, well, I was doing at the time a vlog that I did not post. I don't believe I posted it, where I was in November and December trying to read owned books and books in series, because that's what I always do in November and December. And so I decided to read Priest of Bones, and I felt that this book was just not as engaging as I wanted it to be. I think the character work is where this particular book shined. I wound up giving it 3 stars, so I didn't hate the book. I just don't feel any need to continue on because I didn't really care for the plot. If you like a mob gangster type story, this may be for you, but technically that is just not the kind of story that I find myself gravitating towards. So this unfortunately was a disappointment for me. Next, we will start with a surprise. I read Serpents and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. I read the first 2 in that first duology, and I was very shocked that I liked it. I had read Daughter of No Worlds and DNF'd book 1, which I think I read after this series, but I was very shocked that I liked this one as much as I did. Was it the best thing ever written? Was it the best thing in the world? No, absolutely positively not, but I really had a romp of a good time with this one, and so I did not expect myself to like it at all, and I did end up liking it. This next one that is a disappointment, I think that people may come for me, and I don't want you to come for me. This is a interesting book. So the book is Disfigured on Fairy Tales, Disability, and Making Space. So I actually read this for my book club this year. I don't think I vlogged this, or I thought several times to make a video about this book specifically, but wound up not doing that. I thought that this book I just didn't see where it grabbed onto something and really made an impact in the disability space. I also felt like our narrator, everybody with mental health is different. Everybody with any kind of disability is completely different. One person is different from the next, and a lot of times in disability works, they try to put their mindset of disability as how everybody feels the same way that they do about disability, and that is not the case. I did enjoy some of her references to disability in fairy tales and famous works. We do realize that, you know, in these famous works, a lot of the villains are disfigured, or princesses have a disfigurement and then they overcome it at the end, and I can understand why, you know, that is an issue. But as somebody who is disfigured and disabled myself, I just didn't find anything that I was looking for into the story. So your mileage may vary. Okay, another surprise is Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole. I went into this book very skeptical. I dipped my hand into fantasy romance this year, and like half of them landed and half of them didn't. But this one, I'm happy to say did. I haven't continued on with the series just yet, but I'm hoping to continue on in the new year. I really enjoyed these characters and I really enjoyed the story, and to hear from other people that the subsequent books just get better and better, I am so stoked to continue on in that series. Okay, another disappointment. People are going to come for me, and that is going to be Curious Beginnings by Deanna Raybourn. This is a very beloved series, and I read it probably in a time where I shouldn't have been reading books, but I ended up just not feeling the chemistry between the two main characters. The mystery was fine. It was just mediocre, in my opinion. The whole thing, the mystery, the romance, and a lot of people I know ship these characters, but I don't think it's for me, and I will not be continuing on with the series. A big surprise to me in the year of 2024 was how much I loved Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong. We heard nothing but terrible things about this book. I mean, I don't know what the Goodreads rating is, but it's got to be like a 3.5 or below. I don't know. So I went into this with not good expectations. I was like, I'm not going to like this book either, but I ended up really, really enjoying this and really loving this, and that's why I need to get myself out of doing what other people are doing or looking at Goodreads ratings and saying this is not going to be a good book because the rating is below this set number, because I think it gives us a disservice. I really loved this. I really loved the romance in this. I really loved the story, and I loved the characters. I loved everything about this and cannot wait to continue on with the series. Another disappointment was The Tyranny of Faith by Richard Swan. I loved the first book in the series. I really did. I would ride or die for these characters. By the end of book 1, I was like, these are my characters. I loved them. And then book 2 felt like it went into a totally different direction. I felt like the characters almost were not the same characters as they were in the first book, and there were some very heart-wrenching moments in this second book, and it should have hit me right in the feels, but it really didn't have as huge an impact as it should have, and that's because I just was not connected, and unfortunately I DNF'd the series after a strong start with book 1. Another surprise of the year is going to be Red Shirts by John Scalzi. John Scalzi in general has been like such a surprise since I started reading his works. I've read multiple works of his this year, and he continues to have this humorous soul about him when he writes his books, and the humor really hits with me, and I really, really liked the way this plot went and the twists and turns of it. I enjoyed it, and so John Scalzi as a whole coming in as one of the biggest surprises of the year. Okay, this is going to shock some people. I think maybe people will come for me, but the next disappointment that I have is Just for the Summer by Miss Abby Jimenez. Now listen, I have almost 5-starred all of Abby Jimenez's books. I love her writing. I love her characters. This one, for some odd reason, I did not feel connected to these characters, and I did not like the drama and the reasoning behind everything in this story. So it just didn't click with me. This is just one of her books that didn't click with me. I gave it 4 stars, but I fully expected it to be a full 5-star read, as I have given her other reads. So not a bad book by any means, just one that didn't click with me as hard as most of her others. The last surprise of the year goes to The Spider Key by Jacqueline Hagan. I read The Wickwire Watch and I gave it 3 stars. I felt like it meandered a little bit in plot and everything. So when I moved on, I didn't feel like, okay, if I don't like this book, kind of par for the course, I'm not gonna like it. But I wound up really, really loving The Spider Key and the characters in that story, and just felt so connected, and the twists and the turns of the story, and it opened up a whole new series to me that I was like, yes, I'm ready to continue on. And so that was such a surprise for me, and a pleasant one at that. So that is it for my most surprising and most disappointing reads of the year. Tell me what some of yours are in the comments down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one.